Alright, good evening, y'all. There is, I don't know, I think there's like 11 or 12 Hot Wheels Premiums left that I have on cards. One will be the Top Gun Maverick Porsche, and then the rest are going to be Fast and Furious. Some of these I've hung on to because I like the Tokyo Drift cars. One of these is the Brian O'Connor F-150, and there's a couple other cars in there. But there are only 3 cars that are in that tote that had about 100, I would say, at one point, maybe more, that I'm only keeping on cards, and they're basically like, I think the Jurassic Park Jeep, the Ninja Turtles van, and one of the Back to the Future DeLoreans. That's mainly because the wife is really big into those. Anyway, nonetheless, we'll start with the Top Gun Maverick Porsche. This thing was kind of hard for me to get a hold of. I got it from a guy that I buy stuff from on auctions all the time. So I hung on to it kind of for the pop culture thing too, but I kind of go after Cadillac and Porsche, so we'll crack this one open and see what it's about. It's a 71 911. As you know, it makes a little cameo appearance in the movie. Real sweet ride. I'm sure it's nothing that'll disappoint being a Hot Wheels Premium. But we'll check it out anyway. Silver metallic. Man, it's really nice outside the package. Real high gloss clear on the paint. It's got like the, I can't remember what they call these wheels, like the 5-blade sunflower or whatever the hell they call these wheels. Got some really nice little lens tampoing on the headlights. This is a 20, the copyright I think says 24, but I think it's a 25 release. But get some close-ups of it. Trying to get y'all a little closer to the camera. I think I was a little too far out in some of the other videos. The front looks really good. Then the undercarriage is got a little bit of detail on it. Shows the rear manifolds and muffler and transaxle and some of the front suspension. Get y'all a rear shot. Again, that's a nice car in the back. Obviously, Hot Wheels Premiums. No complaints. Very nice. Alright. First one on top of the stack is yeah, man. These Mazda RX-7s. Like 95 models. Grew up loving these cars. So this set, I opened a few of these other cars on a few videos. All of them but the Hellcat, because that car got traded. Eventually I'll find another one of those because they're pretty easy to find in the less trafficked Targets and Walmarts. The Skyline is obviously a lot harder to get a hold of. I mean, the Impala and the Hellcat Charger are probably about the same. I think I found those two first down in, oh man, one of those Corpus Walmarts. One's coming back, but this is I'm not sure what car this is. It says the Fast and the Furious. I don't remember this car being in the first one, but whatever. Mazda RX-7 FD. Like I said, I was kind of hanging on to the more, movie appropriate, Fast and Furious themed, Fast and the Furious line cars, because they have the really cool graphics and everything on them. But these cars are just too nice out of the package, man. And all these car collectors put way too much stock in these things. If it's a zero car, a chase car, yeah, maybe keep that on the cards because some of those things bring crazy money. And if you're really just trying to collect for cash, or make investments, if you will, do that. But all the rest of these things, man, you can get them on the shelf. Just cut them open. That's just how I feel about it now. But really nice. Back of this car looks really good. This car has really good detailing. I don't have this generation RX-7 out of the package from Hot Wheels Premium that I know of. I may have. I have to look. We'll do that in a later video. At some point, I'll start getting out the jammer cases and showing y'all what I have in there. Yeah, see, this car looked really good in the package, and now it looks even better out. I know I say that and have that comment all the time, but these cars, just get them out, man. Enjoy them. Make your own little dioramas. Put them in your garages. Put them on your desk. Get them out. Put a couple out at a time if you don't have much space. I mean, that's where these things belong. Card collecting is cool, but it takes up a lot of space. And if you're buying these things to enjoy them and put them on display and put them out in the open and line them up on a shelf or put them on a desk or let people actually hold them, and some guys do the pocket riding thing. I think that's kind of cool. I may actually start doing that. Taking a few up to the office just so that it's almost like having a family photo for some people. They have something on their desk, or they have pictures all over their desk, or they have trophies, or they have, award plaques or whatever. This right here in my line of work, nowadays, after everything that's going on with me and everything in my head and with my health and what have you, one little 1/64 scale diecast car sitting on a block while you're sitting there answering calls and plugging away at emails and working on everything that I do, that lets you know that 4 or 5 o'clock in quitting time is around the corner. Okay, it's not, you don't always have to. It's that little bit of inspiration. It lets you know that you go to work and you grind and you put all that disparity in play so you can come home and enjoy time with your hobbies and your family and your Lord and whatever, right? So I get it. And that's exactly why I have the standpoint that I do on opening these things and enjoying them. Because, oh yeah, they're cool. They got card art and da-da-da. But, man, just bust them out. Okay, anyway, off the peanut gallery. This is from 4. I don't think I remember this car. And I realized the other day when I was hanging on to this one, I don't have any other cars in this set. And I don't even believe I've seen any of these in this set anywhere. Like, zero. Maybe the first gen Skyline that has that infamous Fast and the Furious livery, the silver with the blue hashing. But these other 4 cars, I see a lot of stuff posted on Facebook. I see a lot of stuff on Macari. That's going to be a little mission of mine. I should have probably made it a bigger mission of mine because I like every other car on here. One's a C210 Skyline. One's a Fairlady Z, a Mazda RX-3 that's red. It's got the real nice, graphic detailing on the side. And then the first gen Skyline that's on here is basically, that decor, if you will. But this Silvia is pretty neat. It's one of those really weird models. And I feel like the other car is in here from Tokyo Drift. I like the paint scheme on this car because it reminds me of that car that I can't remember that guy's name. I watch him on TikTok. The main actor, the kid. He was young then. Something Lewis Black or anyway. He slides this thing in that parking garage and just tears it all to hell. But hey, there's more cars. Just grab one and keep going, right? So man, this is such a shame. See, sometimes when you keep these things in a car so long, they get banged up, from right around the blister. This one's got a few little, like, imperfections. Not really fish eyes, but it almost looks like trash in the paint. Again, these things aren't $50 or $100 models, guys. I mean, they're gonna, even Hot Wheels make some mistakes, but just to give y'all a little glimpse. You know, this car probably should have come out of the package. You know, this is an old one. 2017 is on the card, so this is probably a 2018. And I want to say this came from a trade, or may have been a gift from a guy that I trade with down in South Texas. I really can't remember. I can't keep up with everything anymore. But see there on the hood, it's got some little blemishes on the roof. You know, it's got some blister wear from, you know, basically almost banging against the blister. And there's no telling where this thing, you know, who changed hands and where it was bought and how many times it was shipped. You never know. But this one has the gloss painted undercarriage to match the blue paint on the vehicle. This car is really nice. Like I said, it's kind of a shame it's not next to perfect. Undercarriage is plain and flat, but pretty nice finish. A little light on the paint, obviously. And it's kind of got a little shadowing in there, but I like these rear wider wheels. They're very fitting for, you know, period correct JDM, if you will, from this time, you know, early 2000s. These tampos on these headlights, they have like a little, these are different, man. They have like a little, a chrome laminated tampo, and it almost makes them look like they're lensed headlights. But obviously they're not, because Hot Wheels Premiums don't have that. But really nice car. Rolls super sweet. 9.5 out of 10. The tires on this one are actually slightly beveled. They don't really have a square edge because they're so low profile, which really fits the car, you know, itself in the film and the way it's shown in the card art. You know, this is nice, real nice. So, anyway, there's that one. All right, I'm gonna do that one later because I just can't stand it. Okay, the 350Z. This one's from Tokyo or Fast 5. This is a set that has the Viper and the McLaren and the Primer Gray Chevelle. The 350Z and 370Zs. This is a 370. This is car 3 out of 5 in this set. You know, we kind of used to give them a little bit of grief because they got the wrong persona, you know, from a lot of people that were buying them way back when. But now if you go back and look at the first Gen Zs, you know, in some older videos online, you know, on YouTube, or I watch a lot of Jason Camisa. He's a, you know, basically a writer for Haggerty, or not Haggerty. He's on Haggerty channel. I think he used to write for like Motor Trend, and I like him because the guy's kind of unfiltered. You know, he speaks his mind. He's pretty knowledgeable. You know, he's probably my age or a little older, and I've read his content when I was growing up in some magazines. But he did a little snippet on the newer Z cars, and I remember when they panned back to like 2004 to 2008 when these things first come out, and that car was very underappreciated, and it was very overused. Like the type of people and the demographic of people that were buying that car were using that car for everything it was not intended for. And now, you know, if you see some of those things and they're real low mileage and, you know, they're kind of untouched and unmolested, you kind of gravitate back to it and you go, man, you know, if you were just smart enough to buy a car like that, even 10 or 15 years ago, you know, before the value just flew through the roof on them. Again, we're talking about low mileage, you know, pristine cars, not ones that have been well used and enjoyed. You'd have a really nice driver. You really would. The Nissan Z line has been extremely underappreciated by a lot of people. And obviously now they're approaching, I don't know, over 50 years old, right? And to me, they're kind of making a comeback. And in my opinion, if you could afford it and you can find some that were low enough mileage, you know, they'd be good cars to invest, all generations, right? But this one's not too flamboyant. It's kind of subtle. It's like they couldn't decide if it was going to be gloss black or flat black on the hood. It's kind of hard to tell. It looks like they intended to go gloss black, but I don't know what happened there. Just plain, simple. You know, ain't nothing wrong with that. Everything doesn't have to have a catch me if you can appearance, you know. Rear of the car's kind of plain. I hate whenever they do that. You know, put something in the middle. You know, just don't. I know some of these cars aren't going to have license plates on them because they were, you know, getaway cars and race cars in the movie. But there should be something on there because I bet they had plates on them in the film. We had to go back and check that out. So, not bad. The polished outline on the wheels gives a good contrast. Probably could be a little more detail on here, but this car didn't have a whole lot of badging and ID marks on it to begin with. So, oh, okay. I know it took me a few months when I first started getting hard into 164 diecast, which is the only scale I collect, by the way. I don't do anything 143, 134, 132, 124 model size. I don't do any of that. I literally only do around 164 scale. Not all these cars that I have, especially the older things, they're not exactly 164 scale. Like some of the Matchbox cars were 158 or 160, or, you know, some of them are a little bigger, some of them are a little smaller. But I told myself when I got in this hobby, if I was ever going to collect 124, I wouldn't live here. The old lady would just part ways, she'd sever ties, and she'd say, you're on your own. Because the way I am about collecting things, especially these, if I had a house full of 124 scale, yeah, it wouldn't be pleasant around these parts. But nonetheless, I only do that, and I know I get, you know, offers for trades all the time, and you know, when I was trading to get this truck, it was from a guy who's somewhere on the East Coast. I can't remember his name offhand, but he had literally, I mean, it looked like he retrofitted a garage, and the whole thing is full. I mean, he has a small diecast museum, and he's like, oh yeah, I have a few of those. He said, I was smart enough to buy them, you know, when they come out, you know, like when they first dropped in stores, you know, and this is probably only 6 months for us. Well, maybe not even that long, but these were from 2024 for sure, because I know they were all over the place last year, and it's in this set, obviously. This is the truck that Paul Walker drove in the first movie, and it's a second gen Lightning, man. These trucks were never not cared for or undesired. I mean, they're still, I mean, very, very, very sought after trucks, for good reason. You know, they're the 10th gen F-150. We just got my son one for his first truck. It's a 6-cylinder stick, and Ford just had their peanuts in the right bowl from about 97 to 03, 04. After that, I don't know what happened. I don't know what they did with those 11th gen F-150s. They're beyond terrible. We all know about those problems. But these trucks were built really well. You know, the 2-valve Tritons and the non-SVT trucks, they've had their share of issues and complaints, but even the 6-cylinder that's in his truck. But they lasted. Like, if they were even half-assed taken care of and not abused or beat to hell, they're still on the road, including that truck that's out there, you know, in front of our house. But this truck's about like I figured it'd be out of the package. You can get a pretty good look at it. The red paint on it it's not bad. It might actually be a little bit off the color of the actual factory color or the one in the movie. But the Racer's Edge decal on the doors, accurate. I know it, from what I remember, did not have these wheels, and I wasn't sure if that was actually right or it had the factory SVT wheels. Can't remember, but if you don't have one of these out of the package or haven't seen one, there it is. Still a nice truck. I have the blue one from the Boulevard set too. This is definitely a better looking truck in my opinion. It's got a drop-in bed liner, or maybe a spray-in, but good contrast. Not sure if the truck had that. We just kind of caught glimpses of this thing. It only made 2 or 3 scenes, but still a really nice truck. Everything we opened up so far is, classic Hot Wheels premium. No complaints on roll quality. Those rear wide tires, man, they're the LS engine of die-cast tires and wheels. They just work. All right. Fast and the Furious Porsche. I think this is, if my memory serves me right, this is one of the, I think this is what the bad guys drove. Don't quote me on that. But any Porsche, especially these little guys right here, the duckbill Porsches is what I call them because of the big rear spoiler. They're super desirable. I mean, this is the car I was talking about that everybody wanted on their wall on a poster, or they wanted their own die-cast model. Back then, we used to actually, buy 124 scale die-cast models. We would build, resin plastic models. But this is the set that it comes in. This is car number 3. It's a really nice set. I opened up the FJ40, the Land Cruiser on one of those other videos. The Benz too, I believe, and the Benz is in here. So we'll get to it in a minute. But I already have Letty's Integra loose. I got it from, I want to say, one of those guys that I trade with down south. But anyway, this will probably be a pretty good matchup or comparison to the Top Gun 911. This is a Porsche 911 Carrera RS 3.8. I think a lot of these were this set's from last year, 2024. I would have never dreamed that this car would have been that old. It's coming up on, what was that, 8 years? Oh yeah. This is basically the same. I mean, it's not the same car, but it resembles that car a lot. The wheels are actually the same, but they're black with like a polished outline. But yeah, this thing is sweet. I need to learn all the Porsche models a little better. I mean, I can tell you, oh hey, that's a 911. Oh hey, that's a 996. Oh, that's a, that's a 936. Oh, that's a, 944. Which I have a little small fetish with those cars because they were just so different. But I really should do a little more research on normal Porsches because I just have a lot of love for these cars. I think these and the Volkswagens, man, they're like an engineering marvel. What they do and their capability, and gloss black bottom. This is probably better than, in my opinion, that Top Gun. I mean, it just looks the part, just. But not too shabby. All right. This is opening scene car of Tokyo Drift, where they're leaving school and they're racing. This is the car that Homeboy was driving for Home Improvement. I can't remember his name. Zachary Taylor Thomas. Is that the oldest boy in that Home Improvement? Brad was his name. He was driving this car in the movie. Anyway, he's plowing through piles of lumber and construction barricades and all that. But it was a notable scene. Again, not believable. All the Fast and the Furious movies. Plenty of commentary from car guys. Okay, we all know that. But it's good TV. It's the set from the same car as the 370Z and that Primal Gray Chevelle, McLaren Senna, and the big Land Rover Defender 110. I do not have a this year-ish or Gen Viper out in another Hot Wheels Premium, so be a good opportunity to get a little look at this car and the casting. I'm not even sure if I'm sure some other '02. I think they came out with these in '02. This generation Viper's probably offered in some other Hot Wheels Premium with some kind of set, but I haven't seen it. I don't definitely have it. So yeah, that's Red Dodge Viper. Paint's really nice. I don't see any imperfections or nothing like that. It's pretty good all over. This car's got actually casted mirrors. That's a nice touch. Interior is a little more detailed than being a convertible, because you're actually going to be able to see it. But undercarriage is looks like Nickelodeon designed the bottom of this car. That's all right. The rest of the car's really good, and we'll just chalk it up to it has to be track worthy. We have to make it to where it's smooth for the tracks. Definitely could have been a little bit better, but not bad. Real smooth. Real minimal resistance. About the average noise, which is still pretty quiet, but this car rolls really well. So, alright, this is the Nissan 180SX. This is from that same set as the truck, and it has the Caprice and the Bentley. This is car 2 out of 5. Funny story about this car. We were kind of after it and that pickup. I think I'd had the truck maybe a month at the time, maybe not even that long. And this was the only one that I had left to get out of this set, and I really wanted this car because I like the Nissans, the 240SXs, 300Zs. I have another story about those two particular cars mentioned after this model, why I love them so much. But we were coming back from a bird hunt that we go on for dove down in South Texas twice a year. We go first season, and we go the very last weekend when it's like Canadian weather down there. It's always sleeting or snowing or freezing or icing or whatever. But it was that last season of the second season, so it was like late January, and we just happened to poke our head into an HEB that's literally right off the highway. I want to say it's in. God, don't give me the line. Anyway, nonetheless, it's basically halfway between George Washington and Victoria. And lo and behold, we walked in there, and I was with a buddy of mine, Morrow, and he was like, "Bro, look." And I think he had just found one like a week or two prior. And mind you, we get each other cars if there's duplicates and they know we're looking for them. We'll get each other. But he got one for himself, and he pointed it out, and he was like, "Oh man, look! I can't believe it was just hanging up, and it wasn't even an HEB plus. It was just a little bitty, a small HEB with a fairly decent sized little toy diecast section. The one we have here where we live is pretty decent, for a standard HEB. But this car was literally hanging right on the front, smack dab in the middle, almost like someone left it there for us. And I was stoked to get it. It was the only car I bought because everything else that was there, I already had. He picked up a few. But I thought that was really cool that we found this one, actually hanging on the pegs, because this thing was non-existent. And I think I have yet to see another one since in all the Targets, Walmarts, you name it, right? I have not seen this car, because if I did, I would have bought another one, because at one point in time, when I was keeping these things on cars, I want to get a car, the ones I really liked, for a loose collection. But nonetheless, we'll get this one out. Really nice color on this car. it really kind of stands out against all the rest of them because it looks like it has real oversized wheels, like real tall 5-spokes, almost like these are like 18s or 19s, you know, compared to a 16 or 17 to be on a car, you know, from that movie in that time period. But nice paint, real deep gloss. I'm glad they did that because there's not a whole lot of metallic in it, so it needs that for some depth. But this is nice. This will probably swap out that Johnny Lightning Smoke Show that I have that kind of has this same stance and same tire and wheel size and setup, you know, kind of oversized, you know, Americanized JDM flares, I call it. Rear of the car looks really good. It's got some nice detailing on it. Front's good too. Probably could have done a little bit of something with those front marker lights, and I really don't like how they have, this car has the headlights halfway up. You know, put them down or put them up. Make your mind up, you know. Probably just put them down. Not bad. Definitely no disappointment. That car looks really good in the rear. They nailed it. All right, we got like 3 more. So let's spice it up a little bit. I'll save the super for last. So this, I believe, this is the car I was talking about where he bashed into that pedestal pilaster, you know, in that parking garage. And I remember when I actually saw that, I'd never seen Tokyo Drift till probably 6 months ago. And I was watching with my youngest, you know, she was 7. And I remember we both went, ooh, when he hit that concrete. Because it's such a beautiful car, the way they have it lit, you know, spinning around in that garage when they're drifting. And, you know, you're kind of just getting into the better part of the movie. And I was just like, oh, man, that poor Sylvia. So this is an S15. I have all the cars in this set with the exception of, I don't know why I don't have that Gran Torino. That car was like $3 on my car, and I had it bundled with something else, but they didn't take my offer. It was a really large package I was putting together. But I do not have the Toyota Soarer either. So the Gran Torino is that the little henchman in Fast 4, the guy that took out Letty. His name is not coming to me right now, but anyway, this will be a good pair to sit next to that other Nissan. This, in my opinion, is probably a little more desirable car for me. Looks like that car may be a little better styled and detailed, maybe. I think the wheel choice just really kind of kills it for that car right there. Sorry, this chair is bleeding down. I hate to keep leaning over, but it just gets too uncomfortable. Paint's definitely better on this car because obviously it's a little newer. This is 2023 run. This is a nice car. I don't have any complaints. These Fast and the Furious cars, they put, I think, just a little bit of extra effort into them because of what they are, and these are really, really nice models out of the package. I mean, Hot Wheels Premium hardly ever disappoints, but every now and again you'll be like, man, that could be a little better. You know, hey, I really wish they would have done this, would have done that. But these are, I wanted to save this little batch as a video because I knew these would probably be, you know, obviously some better content. More people are interested in these, and, you know, the title I'm going to make it to where it's going to draw some more views. And it hurt a little bit. I mean, I'm not like a Fast and the Furious freak by any means because I talk a lot of trash about that movie because there's so much Hollywood to it, right? But it made a staple in our culture, and we have to give it to the people that put that movie together. And I mean, Tokyo Drift is definitely probably the most applicable or most serious, if you will, most accurate. And the cars in that movie just, it makes you want to go to Japan. It makes you want to experience the diecast movement over there, the JDM movement. I mean, those people just, they know their car culture, and it is, oh man, I've never wanted to go over there so bad. Except within the past probably 2 years before I started doing this, when you start paying more attention to the JDM stuff. But this S15 is really nice. I'm not sure which one I like better. I don't know. That's a tough one. But these two will not be together, but they will be near each other because they look so good with that blue, man. It's almost like a, I don't know. That's a nice color. Anyway, let me get out of my stance and my trance here for a minute. Got two more to open up, and I'm pretty sure this thing's ran for 30, 40 minutes. This is the bad guy car in Tokyo Drift. Big body 500 series Benz. This set, it's with the Porsche and Letty's Integra and the Land Cruiser and the Land Rover. So any of these big, huge Benzes from hell 94 to 08, I ain't mad about them. I mean, those cars were big power, big money, big luxury. They were like tanks, man. They just, you know, they had their fair share of problems, but overall they were pretty good. And yeah, this is legitimate gangster mobster. If you're not rolling around a big Cadillac or a Lincoln, you know, some kind of syndicate knows what these cars are, if you know what I mean. So this is nice. It's got really, really, really smoked lenses, which is cool because it needs to appeal, you know, to or appear to be limo tint. What's cool about this one is they have the driver's window just halfway down, and as you can tell, I'll let you look through the other side how dark that tint is. You can just barely see the cracked window on the other side, and you can, I mean, hell, if I show you the front of the car, it looks like the windshield's blacked out, right? But that's a nice touch. I mean, that little detail right there, it could have been overlooked, and you know, hell, they could have put black lens, you know, black glass in this thing, or put transparent glass in it, and it probably would look like shit, you know. But that's cool. This casting is accurate and to scale of the car. They had a huge hood. I always remember they had a lot of room in between that door jamb and the front wheel well. But gloss black base. There's the rear. I'm not sure if I showed y'all. I'm gonna work my way up to a turntable. I know at some point, you know, you guys are gonna want to get a little bit better focus or get a better view. I'm trying to bounce around some ideas, but for now, I'm trying to make sure I go into the right lens and I give y'all ample enough time for the camera to focus and what have you. But just bear with me. I'm no digital creator expert. I'm no photographer. I'm just kind of doing this off the fly and doing as best I can. So my apologies if it's not up to your standards, but we'll get there eventually. This one is a 23. I do have the Land Rover 110. Obviously, that wasn't like a super peg warmer from what I gathered looking around, but they were out there. But this has the 70 Nova SS and the Lamborghini Gallardo. This is definitely probably the best car in the set. Mark IV Supra needs no introduction. You know, I tell my oldest all the time, you know, he's a BMW nut, and I didn't know this till I was watching Doug DeMuro or something, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. And that new Supra and the BMW M4 are more or less the same car. Like, the BMW M4, and I learned a little more about this when I was watching some of Jason Camisa too, because he did a little comparison, around the track. You would never think it, but the BMW M4, contrary to some other people's beliefs, but the experts, right, and not just those two, the M4 is actually a better car and a better driving car and even a slightly faster car than the Toyota. It kind of hurts a little bit. I mean, I get it that it's the parent company of that platform, but I don't think it's a better looking car. I think they both look equally the same. But if anybody knows a little bit more about that or has any opinions about it, drop them in the comments, because I'd like to see some more research on. I know it has the same drive line. It's basically the same car with different front and rear fascia and badging, but see what y'all think about it. I still don't think it's as good as those Silvias, because the paint on those things are so brilliant, and even the RX-7 is really detailed. This car is nice, but it's probably as good as I thought it'd be. But I figured this thing would be like a showstopper, outside the blister. But it don't come close to these three, as in the Silvias and the Lightning, and this is probably right there up there with it. And I would have never dreamed that RX-7 would look that good out of the package, being a white car with charcoal wheels, but it's solid. The wing on this thing's pretty nice. It's got some decent paint, gloss black undercarriage, a little bit of detailing. It's actually got a decent amount. It's just kind of hard to pick up in all that black paint. Not bad. So that's it. We'll give you a little recap. This is the Tokyo Drift S15. I can't remember, S132, whatever these things are. Stand by. Can't remember what that model. 311 CSP. The Tension F-150 SVT Lightning. I think this is a 2001. I should know that. Doesn't say on here. But I think 01 was the first year of the Lightning. Don't quote me on that. I know they didn't make them in 97 or 8 or 9. I think it was 01 to 03. Again, I should know that because I was around plenty of those trucks, and I know a few people who had them and one or two guys that still have them. Mark IV Supra. This is a Top Gun Maverick Porsche 911. This one was from Tokyo Drift, I think. Mazda RX-7, probably a 95 model. The Tokyo Drift, the bad guy bins. Can't remember what that outfit was called. The mobsters. This Nissan 180SX. This one's from Tokyo Drift too. And then let me stagger them a little bit so I can see them a little better. .370Z. That was also a Fast 5 car. And then the Tokyo Drift, entry scene, if you will, Viper. And then this was the Tokyo Drift Porsche 3.8s. One more time. All right, so quick little rundown. It really it hurt a little more than I thought it would on those because I've been hanging on to them as kind of last resorts. But I'm really grateful that, except this one had a little bit of roof damage, that they all come out better than I expected. The paint finish on was really good. Like I said, just to comment again, these two cars look great. This car is no exception. This one too. RX-7 was probably the big up and comer. I did not expect this car to look this good. A little light, in my opinion, for a premium, but I have a ton of these in the main lines, and this car is definitely, way more, got some way more weight to it. Obviously, it's double die cast, but anyway, there's the roundtable roundup. Have to get some more stuff out of the mix. I may end up kind of pilfering through these cubes. I kind of have my setup up here set up the way I like it, but I know I got some more coming. I cannot wait to open up that box coming from Rio Grande City. Shout out to, you know who you are. Can't name drop them, for privacy reasons, but a trade buddy of mine is sending me some sweet rides. I mean, it's going to be the cat's ass when I crack that box open. I just got a feeling. But the M2s I think I have coming from him and a few other folks, there's probably going to be a few of these that just bust out of the cubes. I'll save the cubes in boxes, and I'll put some of these in the loose collection. We'll do some unboxing videos on those. And there's going to be some more stuff. I have a lot of majorettes. I have a lot of pink slips. I have the whole shelf full of Matchbox collectors over there. I'd really like to get one of those, sitting up here, jammer case, popped open. We'll just grab little cars out of there, and I'll kind of give you a 30-second rundown of, what the car is and where I think I may have got it, or who cares, who knows, whatever. But work on some more of that, share my collection so y'all can get a little better feel for some of the Jadas and the majorettes and, things of those lines. And the Matchbox collectors, because we've been focusing so much on Hollow's Premium and Greenlight and M2, and I hadn't even really touched Auto World because all the ones that I have are loose in my jammer collection. I don't even think I have. I take that back. I have the lowrider Lincolns. I got the matching pair of the gold and the bright metallic or whatever together when I made one of the trips out west. And a guy that I bought and traded from won. I was fortunate enough to get an ultra red of that same casting, so I have all three. And now the only thing I need is the raw, which is, man, it's like rarer than hen's teeth, as they say. But maybe we'll look into doing a jammer video on the Auto World cars and see how y'all like that and go through that. And I'd like to give them a fair shot of review because I remember the first one I bought. I'll show it to you when I do the video, but I want to say it was a 21 or 22 current Shelby, Ford Shelby Mustang, and I was blown away by the detail that they put in their models, and like their license plate, it literally looks like a real license plate, and it's super tiny. What I like about their cars is they are true 1/64 scale, and I think they live by that because I haven't seen that theory busted, in my opinion. Their qualities up there, their card art does not do those cars justice. They are a much better car once you open them up and you enjoy them, because the card art's, it's not that great, compared to some of the other manufacturers. But I will show y'all that. I think I'll work on, I've only got probably 20 to 30 Auto Worlds loose. I may have a few more that are loose, but I think I only got 5 to 7, maybe still on cards. But we'll go through the Auto Worlds. I want to show y'all the roll quality. And there's a lot of things I do like about their castings. They have become somewhat of a peg warmer because all the good ones they drop on the shelves, they get scooped up. And now I'll be willing to bet everybody has seen the 83 Celica Supra pace car. I don't have it. I need to buy it because that black car that's in that display that was in one of my videos, I was not expecting that car to look that good in the display. So I'll try to look after some more Auto World cars, and that'll probably be my next video I'll do. I'll get the Auto World jammer out, get it opened up, and we'll go through it, kind of like the same view. And if y'all want me to do more of an up close like everybody else does, I can put the camera in front of me and I can do them like that. But eventually my my next upgrade, if you will, or transformation into the whole video content is I need to get legit. I need to quit using my phone. I need to get a real 4K camera. I need to start wearing a mic. You know, that way if I need to talk over what's going on here in the house, or I need to be a little more quiet, I don't have to talk as loud. But I'll get there. This stuff takes time, and you know, we're not made of money, and I'm just kind of winging it right now. But all will be next. We'll make that the next video we do. Have a good night. Have a good work week. Stay safe.